Hello. I decided to do my presentation, my test on balance and proprioception and what affects that. So balance is a big key in our everyday life and is also known as proprioception, which proprioception is the feedback of sensory information about movement and body position. So in other words, it is our brain being able to interpret how our body is acting and reacting to things to help keep us upright. There are two types of receptors throughout our bodies. They are known as vestibular and kinesthetic. Vestibular receptors are located inside of the ear and help deal with movement and posture, while kinesthetic receptors are found throughout the body in our joints and help us with body position. Kinesthetic receptors are also responsible for our bodies being able to make unconscious muscle adjustments to keep our posture good and to keep us upright. So if we're just standing there sitting in a chair, that's kinesthetic receptors are responsible for us being able to make the decision to stand upright or sit upright in a chair without us having to really think about it. An example of how proprioception uses our senses is if we do the stability test. That's kind of what this picture shows here as well. But the stability test is where you stand on one leg and try to balance for as long as you can without making any sudden movements or touching the ground. We did this in our lab as well. So the next step would be to take away your sight by covering your eyes and seeing how long you can balance. Then after that, you would take away your hearing by covering your ears and seeing how long you can balance. And then lastly, you would take away both your hearing and your sight and seeing how long you last. So you never really realize how much your senses play a role in our everyday life, because you have your sight, your hearing, your taste, your smell, and your feel, which just help you in everyday life. So here is a picture found on Google that shows how hard it is to balance while your brain is focusing on other things and how hard it can be when you take some senses away. So this kind of just shows how difficult it is to balance while, like in this instance, your arm out at an angle or straight out while you're touching your nose and your eyes are closed. Like, it's extremely difficult. I mean, you can't, even if you are sober, you probably can't do this to the best of your ability, at least. But I don't know if you've ever tried to pat your head, rub your stomach while balancing as well. That's extremely hard, but it just shows how much proprioception relies on your senses, such as your sight and your hearing, to keep your body upright and keep it doing the right things that it's supposed to do. So I mean, I definitely noticed that in our lab as well, that there was a dramatic change. I could barely stand with both my eyes and my ears closed for greater than 5 seconds. So it's weird to think about, but there you go.